Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and good afternoon. My name is Ain. So today my team and I, which consists of ATIQAH, Aisyah, INI, and HAZIRAH, we are from project called BOON, and we are going to talk about depression among Asian teenagers. And why we do this project is because we want you to your invest your money, of course, and also maybe your energy to make this project work. So that's all for the introduction of my members. Next, wait. Okay, so why we choose Asian teenagers is because it is something that near us since we are Asian people. And then as you know that Asian teenagers have higher rate of suicide among other than Westerners and also people from other countries. And the cause of the mental stress is because of academic stress, achievement stress, future job stress, and even choosing which university they want to go. So, experts say that as families have fewer children, each one feels more responsibility to be a high achiever, and then constant exposure to social media may be difficult to cope with as well. Next. These are the causes of mental illnesses among teen in Asian countries, as I said before. The first one is Asia's falling total fertility rates, social disadvantage, poverty or debt, severe or long-term stress, expectation from social media. Okay, so here are the charts that show the teenage suicide rates in Asia. According to the World Health Organization, says suicide was the second leading cause of death among 15 to 29 years old in 2016. That year, about 60,000 boys and girls between the ages of 10 and 19 died by suicide, out of around 800,000 cases across all age groups. So I had done some research about how these teenagers, how they commit suicide. There are a few ways to commit suicide, and then the popular ways to commit suicide are firearms, which they use guns or anything that are dangerously for them, and then prescription drugs, which they can find at the local pharmacy. Prescription drugs like sleeping pills and also antidepressant pills. And then the most common ways to commit suicide is jumping from building or bridges. Sometimes they jump from their own residences, and also from the bridge. Example like in South Korea at Han River. There are bridge at Han River, a very long bridge. So that bridge is very famous for people who wants to commit suicide. They will just jump from that bridge, and also there are alarming numbers of suicide in South Korea. There are that the government decided to install the availability of phone line staffed by mental health experts and with an automatic police alert that can help reduce the number of suicide cases at Han River. So next, this is also one of the reason of suicide, of mental illness, which is Asia's failing total fertility rates. So according to experts, the fewer number of children in a family may cause the parents to have high expectation of their children, because uh, imagine if one family they only have one children, so that children they must be high achiever. He or she must be um, top of his class, must be the best in everything, because if they are not, then there will be nothing to be proud of that family. So that is something that may cause the stress of children. So those are just the introductions of why we choose Asian teenagers, and then why we choose mental illness. So right now I will explain to you what we want to do in Colburn. So there are four of our main focus to enhance and enlighten the awareness of mental illness. So the first one is skills building support groups, and then the second one is parents support training programs, case management for individual high risk youths, and also awareness campaign. So in Kolbun, we want to focus not only for the students, but we also want to focus on parents, teachers, lecturers, and also academic staff. So next. So here are the programs and initiatives that we would like to expose and we would like to propose to you in Kolbun. So the first program that we presenting is the joy of becoming a man. These are the names of the programs that we want to have in Kolbun. We are about the mental illness. So the first one is the joy of becoming a man. This program will focus more on male students because, as we know, men, they have a tendency to hide their feelings. They have tendency to put up facade. Men are not supposed to cry and anything. And then the second one is why I should never commit suicide. And then my parents' pressure, does it killing me or not? Dear God, I love me. Parents training center, emotions training, control thoughts 101, heart to heart talk, my hobbies and I, examination review, and then mental health. So these programs it's not only focused on how to how to help them, how to cope them with mental illness, but we also want to expose parents and teachers about the dangers of mental health. For example, here the examination review. At examination review, the students will have an examination review with their parents, teachers, or lecturers after every examination. Is for them to help them to achieve something more in their academic result, and also for parents to understand if, for example, if their parents are failed to meet their expectation in examination. For example, if parents want their children to have first place in class, but their children didn't get to do that. So teachers and also our mental health expert will help. We will have this like group discussion for parents and children to see what they can do to improve their academic excellency. And then like this here, parents training center. Here we will like motivate. We will tell parents that what is mental health, because some parents, they are still conservative. They have very narrow-minded people. Like they not believe the existence of mental health. They do not believe that these things are the the common the popular way of teens to be depressed and everything. And then we also have arts class because we want these students to express their feelings through arts. For example, here my hobbies and I is where these students will talk about their hobbies or something that they like to do during their free time. And also another one of art class that we want them to go is emotions training. And then okay, so that's it for the Kolbun programs and initiative. We focus on the parents, students, and also the teachers. So this program, we will choose one instructor for a group of students, consists of 10 to 12 students per instructor. Okay, so the instructors consist of volunteers, NGOs, mental health experts, and also staff. The 11 programs review vary from 1 to 3 sessions every week and range in duration of 55 minutes per session. These programs primarily use didactic presentation that cover warning signs, provide information to dispel myths, and promote healthy attitudes. So that is all my presentation. So right now, Atiqah will explain more about our project Carbon, because right now we are not only focusing on support group, but we are also thinking of to develop an app. So Atiqah will explain more regarding the apps. Thank you, madam.
Okay. Assalamualaikum. First, I'd like to excuse me if I'm lagging on your screen. Thank you. Before we go deeper into the project, I'll tell briefly the content that me and my team will cover. So first, I'll cover why we choose to do applications and why we choose this project related to SDG 3. And then next, we'll cover on the benefits of the project, also the challenges and solutions, and lastly will be the plan and the budget. So why we choose this project related to SDG 3, Sustainable Development Goals number 3, which is good health and well-being. Because SDG aspires to ensure health and well-being for all, and mental health is of course not an exception. I think Malaysia needs more mental health treatment services, because if you notice, countries like the US and even rural areas in Texas, they also have these telehealth available for them. They built apps for it, so it is easier for them to get support and help whenever they need. Um, yes, it is true that the application built by the US or any country is available in all countries, including Malaysia. But as we all know, every culture, every races, we face different hardships, different treatment, and of course we have different lifestyles compared to the Westerners. So through this project, we would like our fellow Malaysian to feel closer to us and feel comfortable with our approach, like a sister and brother, a mother that they need. And people might say, oh, they can just go seek help from the psychologist, but it's true, but what if they couldn't afford it? We're also here to facilitate in affordable healthcare for the low-income populations. And as we all know that the SDGs are universal and mental health concern all, be it rich or poor. Okay, so the next is I'll explain on how we execute the project for the applications. So our planning will be more focused on setting goals and objectives for mental health, and we'll make sure that our program goals include in supporting child, that is students, family, staff, and workers, employers. And for this project, we will do a market research, which means that we'll create an online survey for our team and other people to answer. So that this online survey will ask a series of questions about our project's current approach to these mental health services that we provide in our applications. So by the result that we receive, this will give us the team ideas to improve on our project. Next, we build a landing page for our support line. First, because it's easier to build and it is much simpler than website. Our app's landing page is needed to test the viability and profitability of our app idea. On the landing page, we'll explain on what our application will do and what the benefits are and why people should download it. Next, last, for me, is the party that we would like to be involved in our project. So we would like to collaborate with NGOs such as Hospitals Beyond Boundaries, HBB. So HBB is a Malaysian NGO that is dedicated towards improving the health of vulnerable communities. So I think I noticed that they haven't explored in this kind of mental health project yet, because what I can see is that so far they were involved in projects that that include physical health, whereby they will go to the rural areas and then they will do some free checkup for the villagers. So I think this will be a benefit for the NGO as well, as this will be a new project for them to explore. Yeah, so I believe that is all from me. I'll pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Atika. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Assalamualaikum and good day to our honorary guest, Dr. Nuzani Anurita Binti Mohta. Nice to meet you. Okay, my name is Siti Aisyah binti Rahman. So, before this, you have listened to my group mate's presentation about the overview of our project and why we choose to do this project, right? Now, it is my turn as the third speaker to strengthen your view regarding this project so that you will join us in this collaboration by highlighting some of the benefits that we will gain by executing Colburn. For your information, Doctor, according to Fine-Rest Mental Health Services, 90% of the adult population, 46% of youth, and 30% of infants each year are affected by mental disorders. So, people struggling with their mental health may be in your family, live next door, teach your children, or maybe work in the next cubicle to you. So, unfortunately, only half of those affected receive treatment that they need. Hence, that is why we collectively agree that this project can act as a platform to provide a better understanding of how mental health can affect a person's life. Next slide 9. Okay. This is an undeniable fact that people are still unaware of mental illness such as depression, anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder (OCD), and psychosis can affect every aspect of each person's life. In this Colburn project, it can offer various programs, like I have mentioned before, that will definitely help people who are still unaware of why mental illness need to be treated. By attending programs such as Heart to Heart, for instance, it will give the participants the ability to see just how pervasive the problem can be to those who are experiencing it and will allow them to develop a different perspective on all the ways that it can influence their lives. Okay, next. Okay, next benefit that is hugely important and will be gained by the participants in this project is that we can reduce the stigma of mental illness, especially among the public. Mayo Clinic defines stigma as a situation when someone views you in a negative way because you have a distinguishing characteristic or personal trait that's thought to be or actually is a disadvantage, which is a negative stereotype. For a group, of course, of people who already carry such a heavy burden by having a mental illness, stigma is an unacceptable addition to their pain. And this stigma predominantly comes from a lack of information, something that mental health awareness courses are, of course, helping to change. Again, I want to highlight that Colburn is a great antidote to reduce the stigma from becoming worse. I believe all of us had once in our life made a mistake by having the thought that people living with depression are often called crazy, lazy, while some judge those with anxiety as cowardly. So it's time to change that. In this project, we will definitely provide information and knowledge from credible healthcare workers and mental health professionals. As more and more people choose to educate themselves with these opportunities, we will hopefully see a change in the way it is talked about in the community. Okay, next slide. Okay, here I would like to share to you a worrying statistic that was shared by AIA Malaysia website, in which they quoted an article from International Journal of Academic Research in Business and Social Science that more than 50% of Malaysians believe that when it comes to mental illness, the sufferer is to be blamed for their condition, while about 80% believe that there's no such thing as mental health problems. So we need to change this statistic. Okay, next slide. Okay, last but not least, the reason why by collaborating with us will not be a waste of your time is that this project can help us to recognize early signs and risks of mental illness effectively. Intervention that can be done through Colburn is not only critical for preventing or reducing the progress of a mental illness, but for improving a person's mental and physical health, community participation, and socio-economic outcomes far into the future. Did you know that from diagnosis and early intervention in the initial stages of a mental illness can have significant and life-changing consequences for a person's mental health? Early intervention can lead to first, improved diagnosis and treatment, second, more timely and targeted referrals to specialist services, and third, improved confidence and engagement of primary care providers. Of course, like most illnesses, mental health problems come with their own set of warning signs and risk factors. So, understanding what this looks like and how they can manifest from person to person from the programs offered by our project is a huge part of ensuring that those affected can get the help they need. By becoming more aware of what symptoms and warning signs to look out for, we will be more capable of recognizing them immediately. So, to conclude, from the project alone, we will be getting various benefits, not only for the mentally ill, but also to the public. We believe Colborne is a great way to help people with mental illness to see them as an individual and not as their illness, which can make the biggest difference for someone who is struggling with their mental health. That's all from me. I hope the all the inputs that I have presented to you just now can strengthen your trust in our project. So I will pass the floor to the next speaker. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Aisyah and my fellow teammates, for giving me a chance to talk. Hi, and a very good afternoon. I now would like to point out some challenges that we face and provide some solutions for it. As for the challenges, both for our support group and our applications, we could face it from different aspects. First of all, we might not getting much followers in our support group. Second is they might be not interested in our support group and also to download our applications. Third is that we might don't get much responses from the students. And lastly, we couldn't reach our target or expectations. All out of all, there might be something triggers our challenges, the causes, yes. There are some causes that would be affected our support group. One of them is from the students themselves. Next slide, Ain, please. Okay, thank you. One of them is from the students themselves. As we are concerning and focusing our help among the students more, we might not getting much response from them as well. This is just simply because of peers. They are afraid of telling anyone else about their current mental state. As we know nowadays, teenage could be harsh. They would be ashamed of their friends that they actually are mentally ill. Furthermore, their friends could be mocking them and joke around them as well. In result, they end up more being stressed about who they are and what they suffer, and that could worsen the situation. Another cause would be from the society. As we all are concerned, they are lack of awareness about these mental health issues. Typically nowadays, that people around us, hence even our parents and teachers, like what I has stated, they are not aware about one's mental condition. This could happen in two situations. First is that the person shows symptoms of having mental health, but their parents or teachers are not exposed enough about it and ended up neglected it. And second situation is that the particular person does not show any symptoms at all, or they hide it and pretend that they are just fine. However, above all, one thing that they really need for sure is acknowledgement, enough information about the mental health. All right. So, moreover, the society nowadays are too busy with their duties that they take easy on their mental state. Last is that they joke around anything that could be related to these mental health issues. They thought that nothing is serious about that. And the worst is they thought that it could be cured by itself. They are wrong. And last but not least, next slide, Ain. The people who suffer mental health themselves. We know that they have trouble with their mental health. Therefore, they thought that they are at a dead end, that there is no way of getting out of it and no way to cure. Plus, they are possibly normalize their condition. They ignore the feelings that they actually need help as they can't see what the worst outcomes of it. Hereby, we provide some solutions for it. First and foremost, next slide, please. All right, thank you. First and foremost, we train ourselves and others who involves. We all know that not everyone could deal with someone who suffers mental illness. We will make sure that we know how to actually engage with them and help them. Second is that we strengthen our marketing skills, improve our applications from time to time. We add more ads in social media as well as like what Tika said, the landing page. In the ads or in our speech, we engage with the audience better. We state the symptoms first so that they know that they are possibly not okay with their mental state. As for that, it is coming to the last solution, which is to expose more. We tell them the symptoms, the causes, as well as the effects. Thereby, they know their own state better and know where to seek help. And now I tell you why it is worth collaborating with us. We save lives. Serious mental health issues could lead to death. How many of our lovely girls commit suicide? How many of our lovely kids are actually depressed, like what I stated about their academic achievements, not to mention those sexual harassments, pedophilia, a lot. In our life, seeing people help each other could make us feel proud. Thinking of saving lives, it would be a huge honor. It's not fame for sure that we are seeking for, but it is for the honor that we feel when knowing that we can help these mentally ill people, and in fact that we are actually doing it, saving them. That is all for me. Now, let us hear our last speaker, Hazirah, for our conclusion and hope for this project. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to Dr. Zainia and all our members. Okay, so mental health programs that we are going to make is come with several questions, right? Like what physical and human resources are required to deliver a mental health program, and then how can mental health program be delivered when financial resources are limited? And the last one is what facilities, staff, and equipment does a local mental health program need to provide care that is effective, efficient, and acceptable quality? All right. Unfortunately, answering this question is not easy because in order to have a good quality financial is really hard as a student. Okay, so all right, so right now I'm going to bring forward our financial planning and budget for our project. Okay. All right, so rational planning and budget is a must as it can help build effective mental health services. And this also to help determine physical and human resource requirement necessary to deliver high quality mental health services. All right, the first one is situation analysis, whereby we are going to identify the people that we are going to serve. Okay, so we are going to identify the population area around, means that the university first, which is in IIUM. Okay, in this context, the people who involved is like students, lecturers, teacher, and staff. Okay, so it is essential to specify the characteristic of the target population, such as the age, okay, and then the courses of each student. All right, and then that is we're going to review the context of mental health care, and this may include a range of information relating, for instance, the history of mental health service in this area. Okay, and then and then we are going to consult stakeholders. Okay, consultation with the stakeholder in mental health is an essential part of planning, whereby our group will identify the key stakeholder and ensure that they are
consulted at the relevant stage of the planning process. Consultation over different service priorities and cultural interpretation of mental health problem is also important. And this involves both stakeholder in designing or implementation of service plans that can lead to improve our project data quality and then improve our project cooperation between the volunteers and also the staff. Okay. And next is identify responsibility, whereby we identify responsibility for the budget and plan. Okay. We are going to ascertain the extent of our own responsibility for the budget and plan. This include understanding the extent of limit and available budget that will be produced. Okay. Okay, we also going to review current public sector service resources. Like the next step is to review the service that exists in our project. Okay, either it is either it is non-governmental organization or private for-profit providers. Okay, next needs assessment. Okay, so this is what our project needs, okay, the service needs, okay, which is facilities, equipment, and staff. And all of this will consist of costs, right? Okay, so the purpose of need assessment is to identify the requirement of our project in general population, which is the staff and then the volunteer and then equipment and also facilities. So we are really needed these all sources in order to make a success of this project. We will count all of the costs of our resources and we will identify through this project. Okay, this can be done by identifying the service activities and resources and then translating these resources into money terms. Okay, all right, so now we're going to be target setting. Okay, target setting means like our project will going to set the priorities first. So we will set the priorities, which means what is the main important in this project. Okay, involving applying criteria for service priorities, including the magnitude of mental health problems that the student are facing. Okay, the level of their depression and anxiety, and the severity of conditions of each student. And this will also need costs, okay, in order to check their problem of each student, okay. And then option appraisal. Option appraisal means like the criteria for considering option for service development include like technical, administrative, and legal feasibility, like financial and resource availability. Okay. Okay, and next is set target, which means that we're going to set target for our service plan we are going to set targets. Either it is short or long-term benefits. Okay, the target should be set in accordance with a specific time, right? So like either short or long term, like I said before. Okay, we may need new service functions and then necessary facilities that we need around the campus to do all the programs that I said before. Okay, and then the last one is implementation. Next slide. Okay, so implementation means first is budget management. How we manage the budget. Okay, first, financial management and accounting system should be in place in order to allow for the effective management, and we going to monitor of the mental health budget program. Okay, so monitoring should take place on an ongoing basis. Okay, primarily through the development of information systems and the quality improvement of the programs.
Okay, and the last one is evaluation. Okay, evaluation is the final step in planning and budget for our mental health program, so that we can evaluate the service that we provide through this program. Okay, so this complete the cycle of planning and budget. Evaluation will lead to a review of service. Okay, for example, from the students, we will get a review from them. Okay, so we can make a changes in long-term benefit, in long-term plan. Okay, next. Next. Okay. Okay, this is our like no. Before, okay. No. Business. Okay. Eh. All right. Okay. So this is our business model canvas for app and hotline. Like ATIQAH said before, that we're going to launch an app for our program. Okay. So this is our key partners. Okay. One of them is in government sector, we have Ministry of Health and Education. Okay, and also police. And then we have private bodies, which is Mental Illness Awareness and Support Association, and AIA Berhad, or this AIA Berhad is for insurance for mental illness. We're going to collaborate so that we can provide insurance for mental illness patient. Okay, and then for the primary and secondary school, teens and adolescents shall sign up for the app. Okay, maybe this is for long term, because for the short term program, we're going to expose this program first in in university or in IIUM first, and then for the long term, we will going to expose our program to all the primary and secondary schools in Malaysia. Okay, and next is our key activities. Okay, the project development and launch. Okay, set up project monitoring and evaluation team to design data collection tools and evaluation reports. Okay, this is for launching of an app. Okay, like awareness campaign through website or media platforms. And we also build strong partnership with private and public sectors, like I used to say, like government and also private sectors. Okay, so I will go briefly so that it will not be too much. Okay, so the value proposition, we involve with networking with others. Okay, and also a free platform for users to network. Okay, for our app, it's it give access to emotional sensor, which is free SMS, and a 24 hours toll-free emergency number for emergency setting, which is out for our hotline. And then customer relationship, like social media platforms and also website, blogs, and emails. Okay, and then our customer segments consists of adolescent. Okay, this is for long-term planning. Okay, for our short-term planning, we will focus on young people aged 20 until 24 years and above, both men and women in university. Okay, and then teachers and lecturers. Okay, this for short term, and for the long term is parents, single mother, and fathers. Okay, next. Okay, so this is key resources for our applications that are going to relaunch. Which is the website we're going to use, and then the project ambassadors, and then finance, project office space, and public address system, which is consistent, which will consist of consistent partners. Okay, the channel and distribution will consist of online ads like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Okay, and then the cost structures, like the cost in order to make an app and website development, which is we maybe needed web developer again, right? And okay, like marketing and PR. Okay, and then the revenue stream, which is fundraising campaign and also partner subscription for ongoing support. Okay, next. Okay, so for our project, for our program, what we can offer to investor is the what will the investor get is they will support individuals with mental health issues and maintain the mental health and well-being of the workforce and students. Okay, which means that we not only focusing on the students, but we also focus also on like lecturers and then staff. Okay, and then they invest in promotion, prevention, and early intervention. Okay, and then the last one is upgrade the image of company among society. So when the investor invest in our program, automatically they will upgrade the image of their company among society. The people will trust their company and easily to believe what they see. Okay, next. Okay, so to conclude, we hope our project will bring the importance of mental health conversation to the forefront by teaching mental health basics and encouraging people to understand it's okay to not be okay. By encouraging self-expression, will bring communities together so those suffering from mental health issues are not afraid to ask for help. So that's all from me. Thank you. Now I will be passing this for Q&A session. Thank you.
Okay, so again comes the question like, okay, if like I am a company that is like Petronas, for example, okay, would I want to invest on a project that is targeted at teenagers and school children? Would I want to send my children to your programs? Okay, how would that affect my image? Because you talk about image just now, right? Okay, that's something that is like in my head at the moment. What will be your expectation now? You're supposed to be defending your proposal, by the way. That's the expectation.
Let me answer a few of your concerns.
Yeah.
Like the one that matters to where if you are a Petronas employee,
Mhm.
and either or not you want to send your children to our program, I think that those are not the thing that you should be worried about because as for us, we want everyone to know what is mental health illness is because we want to reduce the number of suicide among teenagers. Why we focus on teenagers is because how to say, like if they have this suicide idea in them since they are young, they will continue carrying this idea until they grow up. So we
Yes.
might not know when they will commit suicide. So that's why we want to prevent it since young age. So I think you should send your children to our program because we are not just we will not just teaching them about mental illness, but we will also teach them how can you control yourself either mentally, physically, or spiritually. So those are my defensive
No defensive, defense.
question.
Okay, all right. It's a good idea, but I think you still need to somehow be a bit more convincing with regards to like, okay, you need to convince the investors more. Like, okay, how is this related to you? Because now it's like it sounded like a bit detached because it's more to like, okay, we're just targeting children. What we want from you is just money. It doesn't mean that it's like detached in a way that you don't really put that involvement in the company. say, okay, why should you do this? Maybe something more relevant to them. Why do we actually want to target teenagers? How are teenagers what do you call, relevant to your life? Maybe you've got children, maybe you have like people that you want to help, or people that you know suffering from this particular disorder, for example. Okay. All right. Other things that you want me to highlight? I think with regards to that, I love that the idea is very good. I think it works well. Okay. That is not something that I expected. I was thinking of like it's going to be something different, but you presented on Dr. Lily's one of the Dr. Lily's presentation assessment, right?
Yeah.
It's just a very good idea. I like that.
Thank you, madam.
You're welcome. Is that about all?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you. I'm glad that I could help.
Thank you.
All the best.
Welcome.
Sharing your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, bye. Assalamualaikum.
Thank